The following podcast may contain spoilers.
Welcome to treading the path of the heavens, or reading the path of heaven, or reading the path of heaven. It's one of those for sure.
I'm pretty sure it's one of the first two.
It's okay. Yeah, it's not that third one. Fine. My name is Seth. I am your host this week. I read a book, you guys.
You read?
I don't believe
Surprising.
I did not. Okay, let's be honest. First, I did not finish a book because the book that I was reading is not finished. Let me first start by saying the book that I would like to talk about is Cultivation Chat Group.
Oh, you did mention that last episode.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little book, and now I'm just fucking with all you guys. I'm not actually going to because some bullshit happened with Cultivation Chat Group this week, and I'm frankly not incredibly pleased with the way it is currently being handled, so I am not going to advertise for a book that I don't
You're
really...
not just looking for a way to not do your
I read
episode?
92 chapters of this book. I got to a Caucasian monk that hit a man and then said, "Fly away, faggot."
Oh my God. Did he actually say that?
He did. He did. That is in the text. Please don't get mad at me. That was in the text.
Oh my God.
And I got to there and I was like, well, this is certainly a goofy book, huh? And then I stopped reading it because that seemed like a good place to stop for now. Some shit was happening on a train car, whatever.
Yeah, we're not happy about how Cultivation Chat Group just got treated, so
yeah,
we're gonna not talk about it in protest.
Yeah, it would kind of be a bad taste to be like, hey, guys, here's an episode on this thing, so let's do something else.
Yeah, that's what I prepared for, and so because we're not going to do that, we got to do something else.
So instead, by request,
yeah, this guy redmagesummoner requested in 2 separate Reddit threads, very strongly in both, that we read Emperor's Domination, and so I, of course, was not doing that. I was reading Cultivation Chat Group, but
our other hosts, myself, Jonathan Kinney,
and Richard.
Oh God, that's so late. I'm so sorry. You guys shouldn't let me be the host. It was so bad.
it's already falling apart. I'm Bill.
Oh God, it's Bill.
So Richard and I started reading this the day that Red Mage Summoner requested it because we were really happy that we got our first request.
And I cracked out. Oh, I've read so much of this. I've been dying to talk about it anyway.
Well, that's good because that's the only thing we have to talk about this week.
Yeah, I got about 153 chapters in, mostly because I got caught up in catching up to all my other books. Battle Through the Heavens and Martial God Oster have been so good lately.
That sounds like books that we should...
Oh, don't... I lust for the chance to talk about those books. It'll happen eventually.
Of course.
I've been...
One step at a time.
I took a step back from being in the Korean web novel Wonderland since there's so many being translated right now by one rainbow turtle.
Ooh,
Specifically rainbow turtle.
A turtle made of rainbows or red and black turtles. I don't know what they go by anymore.
I think you're just supposed to imagine it, and then the hope and joy that you feel at imagining it is supposed to be the feeling.
Oh, okay.
Jesus, what a prolific translator.
Yeah, man. But I took a step back from that. I'll hold back. I'm not even reading Overgeared right now because of Emperor's Domination.
That's one that I hear is very good.
And I don't regret it because this one is really good. So tell me, Bill.
All right. So I'm looking up these novel updates. Yeah, novelupdates.com's description says, for Emperor's Domination, 10 million years ago, Li Qiye planted a simple water bamboo into the ground. 8 million years ago, Li Qiye had a koi fish pet. 5 million years ago, Li Qiye cared for a little girl. In the present day, Li Qiye woke up from his slumber. The water bamboo reached the apex of cultivation. The koi fish became a golden dragon. The little girl became the 9 worlds immortal empress.
I'm sorry, I completely interrupt. The thing that you just read said that tree, that a piece of bamboo reached the apex of cultivation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait for it. It makes complete sense.
Okay.
Because anyone can cultivate.
I guess that is the
Not
thing
just
that
humans.
I should know by now.
Not just humans. In the 9 heavens. Anything can cultivate. Okay, so Emperor's Domination. Okay, guys. What's the best way I can explain this? Because I was talking to Kenny about it because we were both reading this and then giggling about it like schoolgirls. It's basically, okay, you know how when you're reading a normal cultivation novel and your character struggles for a bit and then he reaches a certain level above everyone and then he does his victory lap and it's super satisfying?
Sure. Yeah, it's the best because it's like you've seen him struggle under these people. Like it's been like in Battle Through the Heavens, it's like the Dozongs or the Dozuns or whatever it happens to be. And it's like you struggle for so long to fight people of that thing. It's always like at the cost of your injuries and you have to use medicinal pills that you were saving, and it's always these awful things.
Rare treasures.
But then eventually you break through, and then you just put all those people are trash, and you're like a 1-star and they're like a 6-star. But you were able to beat them when you were 1 rank lower. So like they think you're not shit. And then you just like murder everyone effortlessly. And it's this most satisfying face slapping.
This entire book is one giant victory lap. It's incredible. Like this main character, Li Qiye, had no cultivation and was victory lapping on people. Like it was insane.
Yeah, no. The very beginning of this book is like you get the description of this drunk guy who was basically holding the sect ransom because he had one of these orders that like the ancestor of the sect had handed out that like anyone who holds this can order the sect to do anything and they have to do it or they're just like straight up dishonoring their ancestors.
Damn.
And so like they have been terrified of this guy because he's literally called like 3 talents, which is spending money, drinking, and fooling around in brothels.
Incredible.
He's really good at that third thing.
I mean,
really good at that third
is that
thing.
a skill? Is that a measurable skill?
Oh, yes.
With
Yeah.
enough time and practice.
He's peerless. The Tao of brothels, he's cultivated that to the maximum.
So we open up on our main character, Li Qiye, who has somehow swindled this man, everyone assumes, out of this order. And like he shows up to the sect and he's like, I'm the prime disciple now. Thanks. And this is literally a mortal with, in the eyes of the world, the most trash possible potential.
Mortal life will, mortal physique, crappy potential, like all of it. His blood is terrible. All of it's bad.
He's got bad blood?
Bad blood.
Bad blood. That's hard to beat.
So
that's hard to come back from. Your blood's bad. That's just you.
Oh, yeah, exactly that. It's you, because you can never change it.
Yeah, that's hard to come back from.
Because they're idiots.
Yeah,
So like this sect that he joins used to be like the big bad of the world. Like it was the sect. But over time it's deteriorated over countless generations.
Thanks to the difficult Tao era.
Yeah. Like these heavenly people fought and they fucked up the Tao energy for everybody, so it was just like a drought for 30,000 years.
So they have this cool thing called becoming the immortal emperor, and you get to bear the heaven's will. The heaven's will is like a thing that supports the Tao of all of the heavens. And they had, was it? Like a divine dragon thing was pissed off with the current era's immortal emperor. And he's like, no, you don't get to do this. So he stole the heaven's will. And then in their battle, they ripped it apart, triggering the 40,000 year difficult Tao era.
Yeah, he just grabbed. He's like, sunder it, Tim, sunder it, Tim, sunder it, Tim.
and then it sundered?
Yeah, pretty much. And then everyone was fucked for a long time.
Yeah. It was so bad that even like all of like the ancient monsters and all of the strong people mummified themselves and hid and buried themselves.
Good God.
To try and like hibernate until the energy came back.
So they don't die of old age because they can't cultivate anymore.
Spoilers, most of them failed.
That sounds vaguely like the Shadowrun Genesis event.
Yeah, kinda.
But yeah, so he shows up. There's this other sect that has basically now kind of been like upholding this sect because it sucks now. But this other sect has risen into prominence, the 9 Gods Demon sect.
Yeah, the 9 Gods, yeah. And they used to be like, they used to cozy up to these guys because we had an ancient emperor and they just had like, I forgot the name of their highest guy, but he was a jobber compared to their dude.
Sure.
Yeah. He was like the foot bearer for this fucking guy.
Pretty much. And when they fell down, they rose, but because of the old traditions, if they have a female prime disciple and this kind of has a male prime disciple. They get to marry. They get to marry if the disciples prove themselves.
So of course, like
Get to or have to?
She can
Get to.
refuse.
it was kind of like a thing that was set up in a long time ago when the sect's powers were very much different.
Okay.
So they're still just honoring it essentially. Like they didn't really have to. But
Tradition.
here's the thing: Li Qiye shows up with one guy from the sect and like his master.
Because come on, everyone hates him because they think he's shitty, garbage, stupid. Because he does a lot of things to them, seems weird, but he knows because Li Qiye he's everyone's master secretly.
Yeah, he's been every important person's master for like the last 10 million years.
Yes.
That's a weird sentence you just said. To
Okay,
We'll get there.
we'll get there.
So he shows up and he's like,
do you
hey,
want-
I'm the prime disciple. I should get some weapons, right? And he goes and picks like the shittiest pair of just like mortal non-cultivator blades. And they're like, why would you fucking pick that? And they're like, no, this will be perfect. It's cool. And then he goes and like gets a martial art, which is also garbage because it can't train ki. And he's like, why are you doing this? He's like, no, I'll be good. With these things, I can kill anyone under a royal noble, which is like really high in cultivation.
People don't get during the difficult doubt era. People didn't get above that. They couldn't get above it.
So he just said, all right, well, with these garbage piles, I can kill anyone.
Yeah, essentially.
Basically.
And they're like, oh my god, this kid, he talks so much fucking shit. Why did this become my prime disciple? This is the worst thing. Why do I have such dog shit luck?
Oh boy, does he talk! He talks shit to everybody. You're merely a blank, not enough to reach the apex. He says that
Ooh. Oh,
He says
a
that
lot.
to people as a mortal.
as a mortal.
It's like people that are like 4 or 5 realms of cultivation above him.
that's a reference in Cultivation Chat Group that I just got. Somebody said to somebody that you are not good enough to reach the apex, and there was a translator's note that talked about this book. Ha ha! Bring it all back. Thank you, internet.
Yo, it's a full circle.
Yeah.
It's great. But yeah, so like he shows up and this one guy is like is hot for the daughter of heaven that's their prime disciple, essentially. The one that's about to get married off to this garbage human being.
Heaven's
in his
proud
eyes.
daughter, beauty that can destroy kingdoms.
Literally a
literally
fairy-like
a
beauty?
princess.
Literally a
literally
princess.
a princess.
Is she ever described as a fairy-like beauty?
Oh, of course.
Oh no, she's beyond the fairy-like
Oh,
beauty.
Yeah.
okay. I was gonna say.
She's that because there's tons of fairy-like beauties. She's above them. They're fairies are trash to her.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So she's like,
Transcendent beauty.
good
Yes.
God.
Basically, yeah. And so like everyone is so pissed because there's just this piece of shit nothing that's about to get married to like the jewel of their hearts. So this guy goes to start shit and he's like honestly a pretty strong disciple in this sect. He's one of their chosen.
Yeah, he has a good physique. He has a good life will, lots of potential. Not as good as the Heaven's proud daughter. Few are.
Sure.
And so like the guy talks shit and he's like, well, I'm willing to fucking fight if you are, but I doubt you have the courage. And Li Qiye's like, nah, dog, I'll kill the fuck out of you.
Like, he doesn't get, I will kill you.
He's like,
I'm not gonna fight you.
merely at your level, you fucking piece of garbage. Like, this is how he talks to people.
Oh
like,
God. Yeah, I can understand why everybody
yeah.
would be like,
So what you're
not
saying is
pleased.
this is a grossly out of proportion against the gods. With the main character who seems trash, talks smack, and gets the girl.
it's against the gods if it was like against the gods plus Tales of Demons and Gods repeated like 400 or 500 times before we got to this part of the story.
Wonderful. All right, continue.
Oh, we also we skipped the part where when he first arrived with that writ to tell them, hey, I'm your prime disciple.
sure.
He demanded to these nobles who are all royal nobles, the elders, I also deserve a weapon. They're like, sure, you can have one weapon. Like, this is before he got the 2 swords.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, give me that stick.
That
That'll
one,
be good enough.
that one that you're using to push wood around in the fireplace.
Yeah.
I'll take that stick.
And they're
That'll
like,
be my
"You
weapon. And they're like,
and everyone, you could go in their minds, like, this dude's a fucking idiot. He's
Why would
gonna
he
fucking
pick a
die.
stick?"
Send him to the other clan so he can get killed.
so keep in mind, we are not at this sect anymore. We are at the 9 god demon sect.
Sure.
And there are only 2 people from his sect watching him, and they are beholden to him. They have to take care of him because he is their responsibility. Like, he is the prime disciple, whether that is just because of the order or not. They do. There are things to be followed.
Yeah.
So he goes in, and they do want this marriage to happen, because if the marriage happens, then the 9-god demon sect is like literally becomes attached to them, and they're under their umbrella, and there's so many things they don't have to worry about.
Yeah, because their sect it's been in ruins for a few thousand years now.
Oh, what was the name of it again? 9 Gods Demon Sect?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good sect to attach your name to.
Yeah. So, this guy is like, all right, fine. Well, I'm just going to actually fucking kill you because you just agreed to a life and death match with a person who's a cultivator and you're a fucking mortal. Let's fucking go. And so he goes and throws a sword, and Li Qiye like casually tosses out those 2 blades that he got, and they like roll around and they hit this weird arc, and then like right as they hit each other, they hit the guy, and like the sword of his like hits him in the shoulder. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, Li Qiye's going to die."
Well, yeah, it was a bad wound. Like, if he was weaker, he would have just been cut in half.
Sure.
But just his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So he's bleeding profusely from the shoulder.
Yeah.
But you should have seen the other guy.
He gets split into 5 pieces. Again, cultivator, like 5 realms into cultivation.
A normal mortal should not have been able to scratch this guy.
And he just casually is so good at this martial art that he just learned a day ago. That's not actually true. They actually talk about him like actually training.
Yeah, he was
hard
training
in
for
it.
hours before he left.
But like,
because his body, not that he didn't know it, his body physically can't do the stuff required.
so he had to train his body to do it. So he did that. So he kills this guy. Everyone's like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like, what?
Yeah. Why? What? How?
Turns out those blades, they were like an old keepsake of the immortal emperor that had run the ancient incense or cleaning sect or whatever.
Actually, the ancient incense sect, which,
Whatever it is.
by the way, the main character raised from a child. So when he picked up those blades, it was in like a statue. They were resting in a statue of the old ancient emperor, and it was the ancient emperor resting with the 2 swords with the dark crow over him, atop him. And so you can see Li Qiye like a proud father kind of look at it, smile. Oh, they kept the first blades I gave him, and they took them.
Yeah. He's looking at him, he's like, "Oh, little brat Minrin."
Yeah.
Like talking about this immortal emperor who had the will of heaven and shaped the fate of history. Like,
He's just a little brat.
Where's he been? He just take a fucking nap?
no, he died. Like, there.
No. Main character.
Oh, Li Qiye?
main character. Like,
Okay,
He's
so
been reincarnating throughout history.
so what ended up happening? Weird stuff. He was a shepherd boy.
all right.
Because Li Qiye right now, he's like 13, what we're seeing him. He was a shepherd boy, and he lost his sheep in the mountains. So he's like, if I don't get these sheep, I'm in big shit.
Yeah.
So he went up this mountain, off of this cliff, looking for the sheep, and he comes across this cave.
Cultivation cave?
Not a cultivation cave.
Damn. I know things. I read a book, you guys.
A demon cave, basically. There
Thank
was
you.
this,
Thank you.
what is it, the Immortal Demon Grotto or something?
Yeah, I think that's
And they were doing some fucked up shit, and they're like, oh man, cool. What's up, kid?
Hey, cool sacrifice.
Nice soul. We're
Yeah.
gonna use you to create this thing called the Dark Crow. So he was blessed with this infinite power, but it wasn't his, and sent on a trip to gather as many techniques and powers as possible for this immortal demon grotto or whatever. Immortal evil grotto or whatever the heck it is.
Here's the thing. He doesn't want to help them.
At all.
So he devised a way for, despite him continually living in this dark crow and like being captured and having his soul searched and all this stuff, he found a way to not let them get any of the techniques that he had to go out and find.
He would always erase all of his memories of everything he's doing because he lived for like a few million years, do a bunch of shit, raise people, and he was raising people to create an army to get revenge on this immortal demon grotto and free him.
That's a good idea.
So he's finding all of these magical talents, creating these dials and all these things to get revenge. Then he would erase himself, but he imprinted something on himself that if he finds the pieces of one of the techniques he creates or discovers, he remembers all of it.
Oh,
So-
so the training he was doing, he was just reminding himself of some shit that he came
Yeah,
up with.
Exactly.
Yes.
They gave him a shitty martial art. He looked at it and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember the perfected martial art that Immortal Emperor Minrin spent like thousands of years thinking over and perfecting with me guiding him."
and that becomes the special ability of our main. That's our protagonist's special ability. He just did it already.
Yeah, he's just. It's like literally when we said it's a victory lap, like he's already done all the things. Like people are like, "How are you so good at alchemy?" He's like, "Oh, it's just a hobby of mine." Of course, when he says it's just a hobby, he means that at a certain point he found a kid who was skilled at alchemy, and the two of them created alchemy.
All of the Tao of Alchemy, created it. And then the Grand Tao was lost to the world. So he's the only living person who has the Tao of Alchemy.
You guys make me laugh real bad sometimes. This is fucking ridiculous.
So like
insane.
He goes for all throughout history he's been like, all right, cool, you're gonna do all these things, but don't tell anyone about me.
Oh yeah, he makes them make fate, like on their fate wheel, make deals with him in their fate palace that you cannot teach this to anyone, and you cannot tell anyone what I did.
So like no one knows he's a figure in history, but he's actually the one who has shaped all of history. And so now this is finally, he has stopped being the Dark Crow. He has returned to his mortal physique.
Nice.
And
so he finally gets to be a kid again.
So now he can cultivate.
Yeah.
All the while, the reason he couldn't do those things is because he was the Dark Crow. He couldn't like use that power. So
because it wasn't his.
It wasn't his. So now he finally has a mortal body. So now like we just start with him at the end of the story when he's finally ready to culminate all of the things he's done throughout his very, very long lifetime.
So it's a victory lap where we just learn all of the ridiculous shit he does as we go.
Yeah, and kills a bunch of people who test him.
Of course.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, he does not care about killing anyone. Like, people are bags of flesh to him unless they have talent, and even then, they're only useful if they immediately swear loyalty to him.
Oh yeah. This Heaven's Proud Daughter, we'll skip ahead because that entire arc right there in that period is really cool and setting the character. So I'm not gonna spoil it.
Sure.
Skip ahead. Heaven's Proud Daughter comes back to the Ancient Incense sect, to meet the prime disciple and all that stuff. Bunch of haters there still talking shit about this guy. But the people who know how ridiculous he is have sworn fealty to this man.
They saw him do that and they were like,
the two people that he went with are both like, yeah, we serve you now and not the sect.
We serve you.
And he's like, eventually, you're
gonna
know how wise of a decision you just fucking made.
One day.
They show up.
You, my friends, have
It takes like 10 days.
She's like, I don't want to marry you. You're just some garbage. And then he bodies her. Like he has finally started training his physique, and he started training this physique because he has the original physique Bible that no one has.
Yeah, he's the one that wrote the book that all the physiques have like filtered down and become shitty from.
So he has the core words that you built physiques, and he chooses. There's what is it? There's 6 different types of immortal physiques, and there's 12. There's 2 on each side.
There's hardness, softness, purity,
taint.
Train your taint, bruh.
Train that good.
Yang, yin, a bunch of stuff.
Hey guys, taint is Li Qiye's
Yeah,
power.
he picks taint.
Oh, good.
And he picks the taint. There's 2 versions of taint that he can grab, right?
Oh man, grab it.
Tell me more about Li Qiye grabbing taints.
There's the
Li Qiye, you can do whatever the fuck he
hell.
wants.
There's the one that makes you fast as the skies, and there's one that makes you so heavy your feet will crush hell.
Yeah, it's just you can like kick and shatter mountains
because you're so heavy.
I see.
Yeah, just because of the weight of your body. That's it.
Yeah, your body's so hard and heavy, but the downside is he's so slow. It's cool. He solved that with the Emperor's merit law, because that's what they train when you cultivate. You cultivate a merit law. You cultivate a way to grow yourself.
Sure.
These concepts are how you the cultivation is how you cultivate, and the cultivation's super cool, super in depth, like super artful. But Li Qiye is so good at it because he's done it already that we don't spend a huge amount of time cultivating because he doesn't have any bottlenecks.
Yeah, because he's already traced himself out an outline. He's just tracing back over it.
His bottleneck is he has no natural talent. But it's cool, he has enough techniques to make up for that. But that's beyond the point. He's found a merit law that was the merit law that was cultivated by Minren, created by Minren when he became, an immortal emperor.
Sure.
And he has the better version of it, the original version of it. And it makes him so you're super fast and super strong, but you have no killing abilities. Like, it's not good for killing.
Sure.
But you're so fast and strong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then his body's so heavy, like heavier than 10,000 mountains, that he just kind of flings his body at people.
Yeah.
So
He just uses himself as like a human cannonball and just dominates everyone.
that sounds like a pretty good technique. I mean, series of techniques.
So essentially what ends up happening is this daughter of heaven, because he's like, I'm not interested. I've seen the prettiest girls that have ever existed. I'm not interested in this.
You're kind of cute,
Yeah.
but you have potential. Your talent is what I need. You can be my sword maiden. My sword maid.
You could just be around me and fight people for me because honestly, fighting's a little beneath me.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to, explode everyone.
Well, that's pretty much what they're there for. So he doesn't just kill everyone.
Yeah.
There's so many scenes of people being like, who know how Qiye actually treats people, and people start talking shit to them, and they just start beating the crap out of them, and then like looking back, and it's like, will that appease your anger? Do they not have to die?
He'll tell them, girl, kill him. And this is like the crown prince of an ancient kingdom. It's like, you're not a real ancient kingdom. It's why your stupid country is smart enough not to call yourself that. You're merely an ancient country, not enough to reach the apex. And he's saying this to their whole army.
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that a country can cultivate? Like
No, it's more like
Yes.
a country as opposed to like a sect. It's just like a country that happens to have powerful cultivators instead of a sect.
Oh,
that
I
has
see.
powerful
Okay,
cultivators.
fair enough.
Yeah,
It's another like
but
political power.
A country, but there's levels. There's like, you're a nation, you're a city, and then you become a kingdom. And if you've existed time immemorial and has all this power, you become an ancient kingdom.
It also has to deal with the level of power of your top expert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like whoever the person leading you is, the strongest guy, that also determines what you could like. Because if you could call yourself an ancient kingdom, but actual ancient kingdoms are going to be like,
How dare you insult the title? I'm going to kill you now.
And they will actually just kill you to recover some of their face.
You took it away by saying that you were an ancient kingdom.
Yep.
Yeah.
How would you do that?
How dare you? Who do you
You're
think you
I
are?
mean, if you're at that level of skill that they can just erase you, that
yeah.
how dare
and
you?
it's like, why the fuck would you do that? Why did you want to piss us off?
Because you did.
But yeah, he's saying it to these people, starting like international incidents. This is what this character does. Starts incidents, problems. He creates them and then he solves them. But he's doing it, and the prince of this place, the baron of this place, the future king of this place, the Tao child of this nation, in their wives and their future fiancés, he'll say to that guy, hey, Tao child, I'm going to take your woman, flirt with the woman, and be like, I don't actually want you, even though she's sultry and sexy as fuck. No, I want you to be my maid. Still flirting with you in front of everyone in the area, pissing him off.
Sure.
And then if the guy's trying to talk shit, he'll tell the other girl, who everyone thinks is his fiance, who really is maid, tells her, kill them.
Yeah, just fuck him up.
And then she immediately moves.
Of course, there's also the paragraph where everyone's like sneering in their hearts because like, yeah, like she's gonna listen, and then like she's already moving forward with sword drawn to kill them
Incredible.
because she has fallen in love with the benefits she gains from following Li Qiye.
Yes.
Because that is what everyone does when they're around Li Qiye, which I would like to use to bring up another fun story of the time when the sect gave Li Qiye 300 disciples to train.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's an incredible scene. Yes, please, go. Please.
All right. So I'm gonna lead in with a little bit of information that we teased earlier. The stick that he picked up out of the fireplace.
Sure.
Yeah, it's actually a stick from this like incredibly cursed forest, and literally no one underneath like one of the highest realms of cultivation can resist being beaten by this stick.
Like,
Another fun fact about the stick: it cannot kill someone.
So you can beat someone within an inch of their lives.
Yeah, and they will never die.
Mm,
Yeah, it's pretty
that
great.
sounds fun.
Nice merit law. I'll do. It's a switch. It's a switch. It's just a switch.
The
Yeah.
penultimate switch.
So like he rehears this is happening. He immediately tells one of his two servants that he gained at the beginning, "Hey, go get me records on all of the merit laws that those 300 kids are training in." And keep in mind, these are not like good disciples. These are kind of like the shitty disciples that, if they can pass the test, can become real disciples.
Sure.
Are we talking outer sect or
Yeah,
like
they're outer
servants?
sect guys trying to become, in the sect.
Yeah, like real members. And outer sect is kind of trash in this sect.
Yeah. And there's a guy who's been training for 5 years, but that's beside the point. Continue.
Yeah. So, he shows up first day. He's gotten the information from his guy. And he's like a 13-year-old. Some of these people are like older than him. many of them are older than him. And he walks in like hot shit and just starts immediately doing his Li Qiye thing and being like, "You're all garbage." Do you have the actual quote?
Oh, yeah. Let me go pull that up. Keep talking. I'll pull that up.
But yeah, so he's like, all right. Essentially, he's like, yeah, everything you've ever learned is garbage. Only listen to things I say from now on. And they're like, this is ridiculous. I'm the strongest guy. I'm gonna fight you. And he's like, cool. And then like immediately takes out the stick and just beats the crap out of this guy. And he's like, good work. That was cool. All right, you're next. Who's next? And
oh, no one? I'm gonna beat everybody. So everyone's just running for their lives.
Incredible.
And he's hunting them down.
Uselessly. He hunts so many people and just beats them senseless that like, and when I say senseless, I mean like, you can break bones with this stick and they will heal shortly after.
God, love that good beat.
So like, he's like beating people into piles of jelly with this fucking stick. It's like unimaginable pain. And then like, everyone is terrified of him, so they're running from him. Some people start to try and fight. And like, as they try and fight, he like immediately hits their weakest spots and just like beats the crap out of them.
But he's doing it with a purpose. As he beats people, he's not just beating them. He's beating them everywhere they fucked up in cultivation, everywhere they fucked up in their martial arts, every weakness, hole in their technique, everything. So they learn. So he teaches by beating.
So the second day, he comes back and they're like, the same guy's like, all right, now I've got he like takes a shield out and he like hits it and he's like, all right, we're gonna fight. And he like takes a shield and Li Qiye instantly again beats the crap out of him. But he's like, nice, that was smart. I like that you went and fought me.
Who's next?
And then it continues to beat all 300 disciples again.
Do they at least like line up this time?
Oh no, they're still running.
It takes a few beatings to get to the point.
Next day, the day 4, the pompous kid is no longer the front of the line. He has kind of learned his lesson. He's like, I just don't want to get beat up anymore. And so like the weakest kid or one of the weakest kids comes up and he's like, you're gonna beat us anyway, so why not be first?
Yeah.
I like it.
And he's like, you should have fought. Beats the shit out of him. and then proceeds to beat the shit out of all 300 disciples again. And like people on like day like 6 or 7, people start realizing like they start fighting back more. Like they're trying to like use teamwork. They're like trying to like fix ways. Like they learn from the ways he hit them before, like beat their techniques immediately before. So they start shoring up those defenses and they all start improving drastically. And they're not sure like really why, but then they start being like, is he doing this on purpose? Like this is crazy. And then like day 10, like someone's like, man, it's really cool that you've been teaching us these techniques. Like, thank you. And he's like, all right, cool. And he's like, all right, I'm ready to be beaten up now. And he's like, I was going to teach the Tao today.
I was going to.
But I mean, like, if you're hungry for it.
So you're saying he invented assassination classroom?
Basically, yeah. It's like, and then he like sits down and he's like, he takes like the shittiest, crappiest, most low-level beginner merit
No one cares
law
about this merit law
in the entire sect that you basically only give to people who just have fucked up potential so that they can't really do anything. So it's like the junk drawer cultivation thing.
Okay.
And then he starts talking about it and they're like, holy shit.
He ruminates on this Tao and he's like, he makes it sound like it is the most incredible, most in-depth Tao to have ever existed. And he's like, it's like, cause it is.
Like, yeah, this is basically the basis of all cultivation. If you follow these principles, you can do it in all things. But then after he's done with that, he starts talking individually about every single person's Tao and has the same level of profound insights into every single one of these. And these people are like, he's like completely mastered this Tao and he's done it for 300 ones. And I'm pretty sure none of these are the ones he uses.
Yeah, but like he's definitely helped somebody figure them out over time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He developed
But
every
he's
single one of
younger
them.
than all of them. So their minds can't feasibly understand it. At this point, his physical cultivation is lower than all of theirs.
So they can't even
They
begin
can't.
to imagine
Yes.
that this kid could have like one.
Yeah. So, like, the kids start doing stuff. Like, there's this one, like, he starts, like, really becoming a mentor to these kids. And I mean, like, the beatings continue.
Yeah,
Of course.
But less
Why wouldn't
frequently.
they? Yeah.
Yeah, he elects one that becomes the leader of their group, and then
Yeah,
like,
it was the one that was, like, figured out that he was training them.
the girl. And then he was like, you've been chosen. And she got chosen. She literally is pretty much being passively mentored to greatness.
Yeah. Because she made one good decision. And that's pretty much all Li Qiye needs. Is like, you prove yourself to him once and he's got your back.
This sounds like a really fun book. How much of this book is there?
There's like 1,200 chapters so far.
Fucking
Like 1150.
It's a
Okay.
long ass victory
Okay,
lap.
like,
Jesus.
He's still going. He's still
still
victory
going.
lapping.
He is. I have not at a single point felt threatened. Like felt that Li Qiye was at all threatened.
You felt threatened for everyone around Li Qiye. Everyone else is in danger except him.
He's totally fine in all situations. Like he talks the highest shit, and there's not been a single time in the book where I have not inherently believed exactly the words he said because he doesn't exaggerate. He says the most ridiculous things, but it's always exactly on the level.
Here's a quote from when he was teaching people, okay?
Yeah.
I screenshotted this because I'm like, this is the best way to explain the personality of this character. I am your instructor. I will take charge of everyone here. Hard bones without submission? That is fine. I will hit them until he or she submits. Otherwise, be obedient disciples for me. In front of me, everything you've learned before, whether you are a genius or not, throw it all away. In front of me, geniuses and dog shit are of little value. A dragon, coil yourself from me. A lion, lie down from me. Otherwise, I will beat you until your arrogant egos are shattered.
God damn.
And he talks like that to everyone.
And then he beats them for 10 days until all of them are beaten, and then like walks out the dojo basically.
Incredible.
Like
Wait, so he just he beats them and then teaches them a little, and then he's like, cool,
no. First 10
peace.
days he didn't teach them shit. He just beat them.
He beat them because they couldn't move. They couldn't do anything. Come back the next day. You still have not learned I am your better. Beat you until you understand, and then I can teach. Then I can actually instruct you. Because at first he wasn't going to beat them until they talk shit.
And then, of course, you have to beat
You
them.
have to beat them.
Yeah, and then they earn 10 days of beatings. He's like, it's fine. I've trained many people with this beating stick.
Truly the apex of beatings will continue until morale improves.
Minrin and his generals, the immortal emperor that founded the sect, were beaten with that stick because they did not believe.
So that stick is what? Just so indestructible that it stuck around for them to like poke it with a...
It was used as them just sweeping up dirt and putting things to burn.
I mean...
It was just a switch. It's just like a piece of stick. It looks like
but if it's that old, I don't know, man. I must be a weird
Because
kind of
if you
person
would-
that would take eventually that stick and just throw it in the
it
fire.
doesn't have any aura.
Well, also, it wouldn't be burned by the fire.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if
But you
that's
feel
the
like
case,
somebody would have
then
had-
you
yeah,
then you
found
would have
that
been
out.
like, "Whoa, what's up with this
Maybe
stick?"
it didn't fit in the fireplace.
They
There you go.
couldn't. They
Okay,
couldn't.
I'll take that.
The thing is, they used their senses to sense magical energy and potential and things. And no one will, unless you knew where it's from or what it is, no one would know that this was not just a stick.
And it was 10 million years ago, esque.
But
Yeah,
keep in
that's what I'm
mind,
saying. A 10-million-year-old stick. Goddamn, that's a good stick.
No, but I
Like,
mean, it's like forgotten.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
gas
over
powered
time,
also.
it's just like
Everyone's out
a
of gas.
stick. We'll throw it in there. Oh, a little bit of it survived. I guess we put more stick. Oh, let's grab this. Throw it there. Who gives a shit, right?
That's fair.
But yeah, so like 15 days into him teaching them, that he's like a mentor figure for them. Like there's a guy there, the test is coming up to become the inner sect disciple, and there's this guy who's like, no, I'm sorry, you actually trained with like completely the wrong cultivation. Cripple your own cultivation. Just cut yourself back to 0.
Start from 0, and it'll be better for you.
And then train with this. And the guy's like, but then I won't be able to join the intersect. And he's like, who cares about the intersect? If you do this, you can reach the top.
Because he had a unique body type and a unique physique that no one could detect. So, and it's like your physique isn't weak either, because like, oh, it's just a Xantian, Hoshian physique, right? Hoshian physique. That doesn't matter. Hoshian physique can, if you train it correctly, can compete with immortal physiques. You just have to train it right. So he gives hope to all these people who, for thousands and millions of years, it's always been thought what you're born with is what you have.
And you just stuck with shitty cultivation options.
Pretty much.
But he knows that's not the truth.
It's not the truth.
And so everyone around him just immediately starts to meteorically rise in power.
I like that. Rising tide raises the oil strip,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
And like he's doing this because he's just like, I am making my army to go fucking do the thing finally.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fuck those dudes up.
So this is just this very rapid ascension of this guy. And he's like training in a law that's like supposed to be garbage because like it burns out your cultivation at a certain point.
Yeah. It's a way to speed up your, you burn your blood energy, right?
Sure.
To level up your fate will, which shouldn't be able to change. So you get more life and more strength. And it lets you train very fast, but you would burn up your blood so much you can't progress anymore, and you'd be stuck there forever. Not true.
But it's cool. He has an immortal physique because he can train in it, and that's what produces your blood. So his blood energy is so incredibly, terribly potent that he could train in this with no repercussions at all.
And then he finds his life treasure, which extends your life but helps you train, is something that was created when they went to war in the Nine Heavens, and millions of cultivators died in a ritual to create this thing. And he looked at it and he felt depressed, but it's literally, what is it? Sea of blood? It's a sea of blood, like blood from Taoists.
Yeah, cultivator like essence blood. A sea of essence blood from cultivators compacted into a tiny form that can be explosively.
Meng Hao would have loved that at one point.
Yeah.
Meng Hao basically had that at multiple points.
But I feel like the one last thing we're gonna do, because it's getting a little long and we're rambling. Like, just expect it's a victory lap. Just enjoy. Just sit back, enjoy the ride, enjoy people get. It's justice porn. It's justice porn. The novel.
Yeah, I've read a fair bit of these novels at this point, and I have never read a more inherently overpowered main character.
Yes.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
But I wish my only gripe is I wish they covered spent more time on the cultivation, because the cultivation chapters are really cool.
They're very eloquent, but sometimes they feel like they just blindside you, because like he won't be cultivating, and then suddenly he will cultivate, and because he cultivates so fast, he just like does all the steps of a cultivation realm at the same time a lot of the time.
I've loved that realm. And the realm before it, I'm going to explain these realms, and now they're gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it is very flowery and eloquent. It's always like, I don't know, it feels like Chinese poetry.
Yeah, definitely. It's like looking at a picture of art, just like an art.
This is an artistic work.
The cultivation is.
Okay.
The other stuff is just him bodying people and talking shit.
Yeah, the talking shit is very satisfying.
Yeah.
Sounds like. Where can we read this one? Where's this one available?
Wuxia World.
Yeah, it's on Wuxia World. Read along many of our other favorites like Coiling Dragon and Irrational Seal of the Heavens.
Nice.
It's a gem. I won't tell people not to read it. I would just say, guys, don't burn yourself out on it. Like, I read it. I went from like chapter 1 to chapter like 400 in like 2 days.
Good God.
Yeah, I read about 150 and burned out, and then like I'll read like 10 once I've caught up on all my other books, and then like go back and catch up.
It's one of those. Treat it like cake. You don't eat your cake before dinner.
Yeah, you gotta eat. You gotta throw a couple.
I
of chapters
only
of it on the
eat
end.
cake.
Cake
Yeah.
is delicious.
It's a very satisfying novel. I do highly recommend it.
All right, well, that sounds like a glowing endorsement. I'm really upset that I didn't get to talk more about Cultivation Chat Group, because I have a lot of things that I like.
Yeah, I do like the guy who like mysteriously can do alchemy on a hot plate. That sounds fascinating.
He got the ingredients. He saw the recipe and was like, I got most of that, right? And then and then starts to try and do it, realizes he doesn't, gets ingredients from somebody later, does it on a hot plate on an induction cooker and a hot pot, and explodes it. And the guy who wrote the recipe's like, what the fuck did you do? And like comes over to his house and like watches him do it, and then like rinse an entire house and just gives it to him. Like, this is a ridiculous.
It's fine. One thing you'll learn about cultivation is that all of them are insanely rich as far as any mortal is concerned.
Yeah,
More money
this
than
kid
they can
just
shake a
didn't
stick
know.
at.
The
he didn't
poorest
know what to do.
cultivator.
Oh man, dude, I felt so bad for him though in the beginning, because like everyone else, if they were a normal human being at the beginning of that novel, would realize, oh, this is just real cultivation. But he's like,
He didn't.
nah, I used to be a chuny. These are a bunch of chunies.
He
Fuck
looks
that.
at it, and yes, of course, he sees a bunch of people in a chat room acting like cultivators, and he's like, these are fucking nerds.
Yeah,
Look at
but
these
then
fucking
he
nerds.
And they're like, oh man, this kid's going through his tribulation. And then he walks into the city and he sees literally dragons and serpents of lightning
That's
raining
true.
down.
There were
And
lightning snakes.
No. That's CG, dude.
Yeah,
They're filming
that,
a movie out
that
there.
happens. They were filming a
They
movie.
lost
Yeah.
all power. Things got bodied. 100 thugs ended up knocked
Alright,
out in
like-
comas for
like
3 days.
All of that is a part of the work. God, don't you know art?
that started him being suspicious that maybe these dudes are up to something.
I
Because he's
felt
like,
so
no.
frustrated.
There was like a chapter. There was like a
Guys.
paragraph where he's like,
Guys,
wait
I
a
get
second,
you.
where was that guy? Was that where I just was?
Yeah.
That
And then,
seemed like
and then
a
he
real
looks down. No, they're a bunch of chunies. Yo, fuck that.
fucking chunies. What, Bill?
I understand, but that's for another episode. We'll divert. What are we doing next week?
Next week, I don't know. What's
It's Korean time, isn't it?
No, we did LNS last.
So it's
so
Japanese. So,
So it's
Yeah.
Japanese time. What do
Oh,
we got
Tensei
next?
Shitara, Slime Dot Ken. It's my time.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a fun one. What's that one called?
Tensei Shitara, Slime Dot Ken.
I didn't understand what you just said. That's all right.
It's a
fine.
slime. It's a dude that died, reincarnated as a slime. Also world building. Also,
Everything Richard's told me about this has been fascinating.
That sounds like a fun one. A guy that's the slime now. All right.
and
Well,
then builds a
very funny.
country.
well, that sounds like next episode we'll talk about Slime Co. Slime Country. Slime Tree.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming in and listening.
One day I will host this podcast. You watch.
All you got to do is pick a book and read it.
Fuck you. Like,
take a
ow.
look. It's in a book.
I mean, yeah,
What?
read something. Read Breakers. We're gonna cover Breakers. This is the
I
next Korean.
actually have a theory. There's this website that I saw advertised on a YouTube channel. So I'm not gonna say what it is because I can't remember what it is, but B, I don't want to give them free advertising. But it is a light novel like rental or like buying service where you can just like buy light novels. So I think I'll read a Japanese book next, and I'll pick one of the goofy ones.
Pick Konosuba.
I mean, probably Konosuba. Or no, I don't know, man. I'll look for a goofy one. I think
Or Baccano. Dude,
I am
read
going
Baccano.
to stamp the goofy ones
You can't
with
do
the Seth
like
mark.
ones that have amazing animes because he would just cheat.
No, I already watched Baccano.
So definitely not Baccano.
Tiger Rollercoaster Productions. Tigers are scary. You try to get off.